happens when two dogs bred for confrontation? Meet on equal ground? No myths, no online loyalty, no exaggeration. Just two human-designed predators, one built to hunt and overpower large game, the other engineered to engage relentlessly without retreat. The Dogo Argentino, the American Pitbull Terrier, both feared, both respected, both misunderstood. This isn't about which dog looks scarier. It's about why they were created and what happens when purpose collides. To understand the truth, you don't imagine chaos. You study design. Point 1. Temperament and psychological architecture. The most important difference between the Dogo Argentino and the American Pit Bull Terrier lies not in muscle or jaw strength, but in how their minds process danger. The American Pit Bull Terrier is psychologically engineered for direct confrontation. Its temperament favors rapid escalation and sustained engagement. Once activated, the Pit Bull's focus narrows dramatically. External stimuli fade. Pain response dampens. The brain prioritizes continuation over reassessment. This is not recklessness, it is design. Pit bulls were selectively bred to remain functional under extreme stress. Their psychology does not reward retreat or hesitation. Instead, it reinforces forward pressure. Once a pit bull commits, disengagement becomes psychologically difficult without training intervention. This creates an animal that operates at maximum intensity, but within a limited perceptual scope. The pit bull does not evaluate the broader environment in depth. It reacts to what is directly in front of it. The Dogo Argentino operates differently. The Dogo was bred as a pack-based big-game hunting dog, designed to confront animals larger than itself, wild boar, puma, feral cattle, often without immediate human command. This required a mind capable of assessing risk dynamically. Dogos are naturally confident but restrained. They do not erupt into aggression instantly. Their nervous systems are steadier. They observe posture, distance, and movement before escalating. When they do commit, it is not emotional, it is deliberate. Another key distinction is threshold control. Pit bulls escalate quickly and remain escalated. Dogos escalate later, but once engaged, commit with purpose. The Dogo's psychology balances aggression with self-preservation awareness. It is willing to engage dangerous prey, but not blindly. This makes the Dogo less reactive, but more situationally intelligent. Emotionally, pit bulls operate like ignition switches. Dogos operate like pressure valves. Both are fearless, but fearlessness expresses differently. The pit bull is fearless because it does not stop. The Dogo is fearless because it does not rush. Point 2. Aggression style. Relentless pressure versus controlled power. Aggression is often misunderstood as a single trait. In reality, aggression has structure, pacing, and intent. The American Pit Bull Terrier applies aggression through relentless pressure. Once physical engagement begins, the Pit Bull's strategy is simple: maintain contact, clamp, shake, reposition, and continue. There is no natural disengagement rhythm. The goal is exhaustion and collapse through persistence. This style is brutally effective against opponents that rely on intimidation or short bursts of resistance. Pit bulls overwhelm by refusing to create space. However, this aggression model assumes the opponent will degrade before the pit bull does. The Dogo Argentino applies aggression through controlled impact. Dogos are designed to close distance decisively, secure a dominant hold, often targeting control zones, and end mobility, not prolong engagement unnecessarily. Their aggression is explosive but economical. They are not interested in extended struggle unless required. Dogos were bred to hunt animals that kill dogs. This forced an aggression style focused on damage efficiency, not endurance alone. Another crucial difference lies in strike timing. Pit bulls initiate quickly. Dogos choose the moment. This timing difference means Dogos often conserve energy early, allowing the opponent to reveal patterns before committing. Once the Dogo commits, it does so with full body engagement, shoulders, chest, jaw, and leverage working in unison. Pit bulls overwhelm through repetition. Dogos overwhelm through leverage and force concentration. Both aggression styles are dangerous, but they peak at different times. Point 3. Physical power, structural design, and damage mechanics. When the discussion shifts from psychology to physicality, the comparison between the Dogo Argentino and the American Pit Bull Terrier becomes far more concrete. This is where abstract traits like courage and intensity give way to measurable realities. Mass, bone density, leverage, and force transfer. The American Pit Bull Terrier is a compact power unit. With an average working weight between 55 and 70 pounds, the Pitbull carries an unusually high muscle-to-body weight ratio. Its shoulders, neck, and chest are heavily developed, creating a low center of gravity that allows efficient force transfer into a target. This structure is ideal for anchoring. Once the Pitbull commits to a hold, it resists displacement exceptionally well for its size. Its bite force, often cited between 235 and 270 pounds per square inch, is only part of the equation. The Pitbull's distinguishing physical trait is bite endurance. It can sustain jaw pressure for extended periods, even while absorbing counterforce. This allows it to accumulate damage over time rather than relying on a single decisive action. Tissue trauma, blood loss, and destabilization happen gradually but relentlessly. However, the Pitbull's compactness has limitations. Shorter limbs reduce reach, lower mass limits momentum. Narrower skeletal structure increases vulnerability to high-impact force. The Dogo Argentino operates on a different mechanical scale. Weighing 85 to 100 pounds on average, and sometimes more in fully matured males, the Dogo brings significantly more mass into any physical interaction. That mass does not just increase raw strength, it alters force dynamics. Momentum, impact absorption, and collision physics all scale upward with weight. The Dogo's bone structure is heavier and thicker, particularly in the shoulders and rib cage. These areas evolved to absorb impacts from large, hostile prey such as wild boar. Boars strike, twist, and gore, forcing the Dogo to survive sudden, violent contact without collapsing structurally. This required broader chests, stronger clavicle support, and thicker leg bones. Jaw mechanics further separate the two. While bite force estimates for the Dogo are often similar to or slightly higher than those of pit bulls, the jaw width and neck leverage of the Dogo make a crucial difference. A wider bite distributes pressure across larger surface areas, increasing crushing potential while reducing stress concentration on the jaw itself. The Dogo's neck musculature allows it not only to hold but to control orientation, turning or pinning rather than simply clamping. Damage mechanics diverge sharply here. Pitbull damage is progressive. Dogo damage is disruptive. The Pitbull weakens its opponent through persistence. The Dogo aims to compromise structure early: mobility, balance, or the ability to resist force. Once structure is compromised, resistance collapses regardless of aggression. This is not about which dog is stronger, it is about how force is applied. The Pitbull applies force continuously. The Dogo applies force decisively. That distinction defines how outcomes unfold as pressure increases. Point 4. Speed, endurance, and energy management under prolonged stress. Speed is often the first attribute people mention when comparing powerful dogs, but speed without sustainable energy management is a temporary advantage at best. This is where the Dogo Argentino and the American Pit Bull Terrier diverge significantly. The Pit Bull is an explosive sprinter. Its physiology favors anaerobic output, rapid energy release without reliance on oxygen. This allows fast acceleration, violent bursts of motion, and immediate pressure application. In the opening phase of any intense physical interaction, the Pit Bull's speed is intimidating and effective. But anaerobic energy systems burn hot and burn out fast. High output leads to rapid lactic acid accumulation. Muscles fatigue quickly. Precision declines before aggression does. Pit bulls do not instinctively throttle back. Once engaged, their nervous systems push for continuation rather than conservation. This means the dog often operates beyond optimal efficiency, relying on determination to compensate for declining physical performance. Dogos manage energy very differently. As a hunting breed designed for extended pursuits, the Dogo Argentino relies more heavily on aerobic efficiency. This allows sustained exertion without rapid mechanical degradation. Dogos pace themselves naturally, conserving energy early and escalating output as conditions demand. This difference becomes critical over time. As minutes pass, the Pit Bull's movements become less controlled, still forceful, still committed, but increasingly costly. Each movement drains disproportionately more energy than the last. Balance becomes harder to maintain, and the ability to resist displacement weakens. The Dogo, by contrast, remains mechanically stable. Its longer stride, stronger rear propulsion, and balanced muscle distribution allow it to continue functioning with minimal loss of coordination. While it may not match the Pit Bull's initial explosiveness, it preserves effectiveness deeper into prolonged stress scenarios. Another overlooked factor is recovery timing. Pit bulls require longer recovery windows after intense exertion. Their bodies are built to peak, not to cycle repeatedly. Dogos can exert, stabilize, and exert again with less downtime. Speed creates opportunity. Endurance determines whether opportunity can be exploited. In sustained pressure scenarios, endurance is not about toughness, it is about energy economy. The dog that spends less to achieve the same effect remains functional longer. Here, efficiency favors the Dogo. Point 5. Final assessment: intensity versus structural dominance. At the end of this comparison, the question is no longer which dog is tougher. Both are exceptionally tough. The real question is, which design retains effectiveness as conditions worsen? The American Pitbull Terrier represents the extreme end of intensity-based design. Its refusal to disengage, its pain tolerance, and its relentless pressure make it one of the most formidable dogs relative to its size. In short duration, high-intensity encounters, the Pitbull is overwhelming. But intensity has limits. The Pitbull spends energy aggressively and early. Once its physical efficiency declines, its defining traits, commitment and drive, cannot compensate indefinitely. The body eventually dictates the outcome, regardless of will. The Dogo Argentino represents controlled structural dominance. Built to face animals that fight back violently, it balances aggression with mass, bone density, and energy discipline. The Dogo does not need to maintain maximum output at all times. It can absorb force, reposition, and apply pressure efficiently rather than constantly. This difference is subtle but decisive. The Pitbull overwhelms by refusing to stop. The Dogo overwhelms by ensuring that stopping becomes inevitable. Both dogs are apex expressions of selective breeding. Neither is weak, neither is simple, but their designs reflect different philosophies. The Pitbull is a hammer, powerful, direct, and relentless. The Dogo is a press, slower, heavier, and structurally overwhelming. When systems collide, the one that preserves mechanical integrity longest determines the outcome. That does not diminish the Pitbull's reputation. It contextualizes it. Every design has a ceiling. This comparison is about where those ceilings exist and what happens when they are tested.